Hello my friend, it's Cami from the blog and channel Tidbits and Company. Today we are going to talk all things lavender, because why not, right? Just clipped these from our lavender farm. Oh, the smell is intoxicating, you guys. I'm just in love with this beautiful, therapeutic, lovely plant, and I want to share some ideas with you today on how you can use lavender. So you might actually have some growing in your landscaping, or maybe you want to buy some dried lavender and use it, and you're wondering, what do I do? How do I use this? What is it good for? Well, there are a plethora of ways you can use lavender, and I just want to cover some of the ways I've been using it lately and having fun, mainly in the kitchen with lavender. So I hope you enjoy all these ideas for how to use lavender and reap the benefits of it in your life. Real quick, if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it and what that does to help bless our family. Now, if you don't know, we are actually in the process of trying to become lavender farmers ourselves. This has been a long time dream, and we are just dabbling in our new adventure with a very small-ish plot on our land. And we've been testing a lot of varieties, and this is just a few of the varieties that I clipped, and you can see they're different colors. But most of the lavender that is common is usually okay to use as a culinary herb, meaning you can cook with it. So that is what I've been doing, and I have 3 ideas for you specifically in the kitchen with your lavender that you might want to give a try. But I recently shared on my blogging channel an update on our lavender farm. This is our 2nd year dabbling in and trying new varieties, and it's growing great, and we do have hopes to grow into about 3 acres of lavender and kind of make this one of the more sustainable things that we do as a family to provide for us financially. So this little plot has been growing great. You can check out that video to see what maybe a year or 2 of a lavender plant looks like. But I had a lot of you ask me after I shared that video, what can you actually do with lavender? So that's what I want to share with you today. And I did mention that I hope to have some dried lavender buds up for sale in my Tidbits and Company shop. I hope they're available by the time I put this video out, but I also know that reality sometimes prevents me from meeting my deadlines. But keep an eye out. If it's not already in my shop at tidbitsandcompany.com, keep an eye out, because we harvested way more than I thought we'd get in our 2nd year, and I have way more lavender than I know what to do with. Now, we're not certified organic. There are a whole bunch of hoops that we got to jump through to reach that identity, but we have never and will never spray pesticides, herbicides, or any kind of chemical on our lavender. They grow great without that. So anyway, if you're interested in checking that out or needing sources to buy lavender after I share these ideas with you, please check the description. If I don't have it in my shop, I will link you out to other places where I have bought lavender in the past. Okay, so the first thing I've been doing in the kitchen, and my whole family has loved, is this lavender berry jam. It is so delicious. Something about that mix of berry with this subtle hint of lemon and lavender. It is just mind-blowing delicious. And I don't add any like processed sugar in this recipe. I do add a little pure maple syrup just to get it a little bit sweeter, but you don't have to because the berries are naturally so sweet in themselves. But I have shared this recipe on my blog. It's really easy to make. You can just get frozen berries or fresh berries. You can choose one berry. You can use like a berry medley, and then you just warm those up until the juices kind of release. And then you can add the lavender buds. You can make it super strong, or you can keep the lavender really subtle. And then you add like lemon zest, lemon juice, and then you blend all that up after you've kind of simmered it a little bit and let the flavors release from the lavender. When you warm it up like that, kind of the essential oils that are in the lavender buds release, and so that really flavors your jam just beautifully. I like to blend it up. You can just hand mash it with like a potato masher if you like a little bit more chunky of a jam, but I just throw it in the blender really quick, And that kind of also blends up the lavender buds so that no one's like munching on a bud, which might weird them out because it's not too common to do that. So just a quick blend and it's all blended up like jam. And the awesome thing about this recipe is that you add chia seeds in it to act as the thickening agent. And it works so good because chia seeds are just packed full of protein and goodness. So when you add that to the jam, it also thickens it and makes it super nutritious. So you can lather this jam like an inch thick if you want on a piece of toast, put it in with ice cream as a topper, eat some with granola, however you want to consume it, it is absolutely delicious. So please check my blog, tidbitsandcompany.com, to find that recipe and give it a try. I think your family will just love it. Oh, I should address really quickly, some of you wanted to know when I shared the Lavender Farm update, how to know if a variety is made for like culinary uses or what ones are not. So in general, there are two types of lavender varieties that I've learned about. One is the Lavandula angustifolia, and that is more like your English lavender, a true lavender. And within that family, there are dozens and dozens of varieties. But most of the Lavandula angustifolia, or English lavenders, are great for culinary. They're a little sweeter, a little more subtle. So really, you can use any of those varieties. And I've been having fun kind of playing with them and seeing what kind of different flavors come from each. But most of the time, those are great for culinary. And I would say most of the time, if you go to like maybe Etsy or a shop that sells lavender buds, if it says English lavender, you're probably good to go for using it as a culinary herb. But a lot of the lavender that is grown that is part of the Intermedia family, it means that they're kind of hybrids and they've been created to be used more specifically for maybe fresh floral stems. A lot of the intermediates have beautiful long stems, so they work great as like bouquets or for dried lavender bundles. Or a lot of the intermediates are designed to put out a lot of essential oils. So they've been kind of messed with by man, but still serve an incredible purpose. And we plan to grow a lot of those varieties as well to serve some of those purposes. But those ones, from what I've learned, have a constituent or a property, and I cannot remember the name right now, but that's what makes them a little more bitter and soapy is usually the term people use, because a lot of times they're used in soaps because they have so much essential oil in them. So they're not great to be used as a culinary. You probably won't hurt yourself if you do that, but it's going to have that soapy taste or a little more bitter and not as sweet and florally. So stick with the English lavenders and you should be good to go. The other thing I've been making in my kitchen that I'm so excited about, and I haven't been able to try it yet because it takes some time, but I am making lavender extract or tinctures. It's basically the same thing. So if you're making a lavender extract, you're usually using it to flavor foods. If you're making a tincture, they're made the exact same, but if you call it a tincture, you're using it for medicinal purposes or the health benefits that come from taking lavender, concentrated lavender, maybe straight. So I've been making lavender extract a couple different ways and I can't wait to use it. There are so many things that you can use it for, maybe to flavor your cookies. Like if you make a frosting or a whipped cream, you can add a little bit of lavender extract in there. I'm just really excited to play around with that. So once you have the extract, the creative uses for it in the kitchen are just probably numberless, but I'm really excited to play around with that. But making the extract is really, really easy. So there are a couple ways you can do it. You can make the alcoholic version, which most vanilla extracts are made out of alcohol infusions. Or if you want to do a non-alcoholic version, you use a glycerite or food grade glycerin. So to make the alcohol version, and alcohol is so good at extracting the properties and preserving the flavor. Alcohol extracts last a really long time. And of course, you know, you use just a tiny bit to flavor your foods. Or the alcohol actually cooks out if you're actually baking it. As for if you're using it as a tincture, you use just a little bit. You can put it in some water to kind of downplay the alcohol flavor. but it can be used great medicinally for relaxing and calming and all sorts of great things that I won't get into today. But to make the alcohol version, it's very, very simple. You just get a little jar and fill it up about 1/3 of the way with dried lavender buds. You can have lavender leaves in there. They hold a lot of the essential oil as well. So you fill up your jar about 1/3 of the way, and then you top the jar off with alcohol. I prefer to use an 80 proof vodka. That's your most standard substrate for extracts and tinctures, so it's a great one to have on hand if you make a lot of those. So you'll leave just about 1 inch of headspace at the top. Shake it around. You want to make sure, if you're using a metal lid or even a plastic really, to put some parchment paper underneath the lid, because alcohol will really eat at those metals. You don't want that in your final result. So just put that under the lid. Since I'm playing with the varieties, I like to list what variety of lavender I used, as well as if I used the vodka or the glycerin. And then on the label, I like to put the start date and the end date when it will be ready for me to strain and then bottle up to be used as an extract. So really simple process, and I have a complete detailed blog post and printable recipe if you want to do this. So don't feel like you need to write all this down. Just check the description and click over to my blog post to get all the information, like how long do you leave it and all that good stuff. To make the glycerin version, which would also be great if you're not like cooking out the alcohol, or if you want to like throw it into a fudge or whipped cream or cream cheese. Anyway, that one you get food grade glycerin, and you'll do the same thing, and you'll start with about 1/3 of the jar of the lavender buds. And then you fill up another 1/3 of the jar with the glycerin, and then the remainder of the jar, leaving that inch of headspace, with filtered water. And that's because glycerin is technically an oil, and lavender has water soluble properties in it. And so you need a little bit of water in with the dried lavender buds so that it can kind of pull out all that good stuff. So you're using some water, some of the glycerin, and the lavender buds. Now, from what I understand, the glycerin type extracts don't last as long. It's an oil, it will go bad and rancid, whereas the alcohol versions can last like 2 to 5 years because it just doesn't go bad. So anyway, that's the simple process of how you do it. You stir it up, label it, and let it sit. The glycerin does take a little bit longer to extract, but basically you know it's done when it turns like a really dark brown color and is really potent. That goes for the alcohol version as well. It'll start as like, when you just pour in the vodka, it'll start making this like beautiful purple liquid and you're really excited, but then it eventually does turn a dark brown, kind of like vanilla extract, but still delicious, smells so good. I cannot wait to have oodles of extract to play around with in the kitchen. And I think this might be our Christmas gifts this year. Do you think that's a good idea? I think it would be really fun to receive a bottle of lavender extract, so we'll give that a try. Okay, another idea for using lavender in the kitchen or to enjoy it as a culinary herb is to just use it in herbal teas or herbal tea blends. And I am all about this. I love a good cup of herbal tea and use it for so many reasons, medicinally or just to enjoy a cup of tea. So I have some varieties and blend ideas for you based on the benefits that you're looking for. And remember, these are all going to be another blog post, so you don't need to write these down. You'll just be able to click over and get the printable recipe. But you can drink a lavender tea with just lavender. And that is actually what I've been doing because I want to be able to recognize or see the differences between the different culinary lavender varieties. And so if you just want to like really get to know lavender and its flavor, just infusing it in some hot water to make a cup of tea is a great way to just understand that flavor and enjoy it. So another tea blend that I like to do is just lavender and chamomile. Both of these herbs are so great to just calm and relax and get you in a state that will help you sleep better. So I call this my bedtime tea. And I love the like subtle apple flavor notes of the chamomile mixed with the sweet floral notes of the lavender. I think it's delicious. It's also great with a little scoop of honey. I will say, if you're wanting to use this to help you drift off, say you're having a really hard time sleeping, you're not going to see a ton of benefits from maybe drinking a small cup before bedtime. What I actually recommend is you drink 2 to 3 cups leading up to bedtime. Maybe you start one at 3, and then at 5, and then at 7. So that's more of a medicinal dosage of these herbs. I wouldn't drink it too close to bedtime because you don't actually want to be up going to the bathroom all night either. So if you can get it out of your system and get enough of it in your system before bedtime, it really does help you to sleep more fully and drift off to bed quickly. Another great tea blend with lavender is to combine mint and lavender. Both of these herbs are actually really great on the digestive system. So if you can drink a cup of tea, maybe you're feeling a little bloated, maybe you had too much junk food, or maybe you're struggling with some indigestion, drinking a cup of lavender and mint tea is not only delicious, but really helpful with that. But remember, you can't out-herb a bad diet. So it is helpful sometimes when you've had a little too much junk food, but you know, you really can't undo too much damage just by a cup of tea. Just food for thought. So there's another blend of herbs that I really like if I'm like feeling super anxious or discouraged. This is kind of a mood boosting blend, and I love to use lavender. Lemon balm is so good for that, and hibiscus. They're all just like really uplifting herbs, and together they taste delicious. Another blend of tea that I have found to be extremely helpful for headaches or head tension is by combining basil, lemon balm, chamomile, lavender, and peppermint. And that's a lot of herbs in one, but I like to blend them all up and keep a big batch of this headache tea. It's really, really helpful. All those herbs do a great job at just calming digestive system, moving things through, calming your mind, and they just work really great if you can drink a couple cups of this tea if you have a really bad headache or a migraine coming on, and then just get off the screens, relax, and I found that it really helps with headaches. Okay, the last herbal tea blend I have for you today is one that is helpful if you're sick or coming down with something. So I'm sure you know that elderberry is great for immune boosting, and if you combine that with lavender and echinacea. Echinacea is also great for the immune system. So those 3 herbs together when you're not feeling great will help you relax and support your immune system to help you get through that. So I like to combine those, and I think they taste really great together as well. All right, so I've just shared with you some ideas for how to use lavender in the kitchen or for culinary uses, but my blog writer and I have also been compiling a whole bunch of other ideas to use lavender as a culinary herb. So if you want to head over to the blog, we've got a roundup of ideas linking you out to other posts and other ideas. So we've included a roundup for culinary, a roundup for using lavender in like skin and body products, because I'm sure you are aware of how much they're in like lotions and soaps. So there's a roundup full of ideas for you to use it that way. And then we did a post all about how to use lavender in your home. Of course, it just makes a beautiful centerpiece or floral arrangement, but we've compiled some other great ideas for how to enjoy lavender in your home. So I hope you'll take a minute to check out my blog to just enjoy this series that we've been working on all about lavender. It's just on my brain, and I like to share what I learn. There are a couple of things in my Tidbits and Company shop that we sell with lavender in them. So this is a lavender eye pillow, a linen lavender eye pillow. So we make these little pillows with a slip cover that have lavender and flax in them. You can find these on my shop, and they smell so good. I've had mine for about 3 years, and all you need to do is like crush them up to release the scents, and it works so great to also help support you to fall asleep. Or if you have headaches, eye tension, just lay down and put this over your eyes. There's actually a nerve behind your eye that benefits from a little bit of pressure. So mix that with the delectable smell of the lavender in here, and it works great for headaches and eye tension. You can put it in the freezer to get it cold. You can warm it up in the microwave to get it warm. Whatever kind of aromatherapy you need, these lavender eye pillows are so incredible, and we love making them for you guys. We also have linen lavender sachets, which are great to just put in your linen drawers, blanket cupboards, whatever you need to kind of keep your linens fresh and smelling good. They also work great as hand warmers in the winter if you want to warm them up. If your hands are freezing after a day in the snow, warm them up and hold them. The smell of the lavender and the warmth of the flax that holds onto heat really well just make these an incredible thing to have. They're great gifts, and then just to enjoy yourself. So if you're interested in those, check out my shop. But I think that'll wrap up our video all about lavender. I hope you've enjoyed it and come away from this video and my blog post series on lavender with so many ideas and excitement to get lavender into your life and into your home and for your loved ones to enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I will be back very soon to share more inspiration for the keeper of the home.